Hello everybody, I hope you have your maps out because today we're talking about the Netherlands. Alright, this is a quick table of contents. If any of you guys want me to share this presentation with you just so you have the notes, please just let me know. Alright, first things first, the capital city of Amsterdam. Now, is Amsterdam the capital of the Netherlands or Holland? Surprise, the Netherlands and Holland are actually the same place. I didn't know that until I did this report, and yeah, I thought it was cool that the Holland became sort of a colloquialism for the Netherlands because there are two provinces in the Netherlands with the name Holland, so the terms just kind of like melded together, but the formal name and the correct name would be the Netherlands. So either way, the capital's Amsterdam, and here are three places that I thought were like very beautiful and important and kind of like broke out of the stereotype of Amsterdam, which is like this very like dirty, drug infested city, which is true that Amsterdam has a like very big red light district where there's a lot of drugs and prostitution because those things are legal in the Netherlands, which are not legal here at all. So it's a very stark comparison, but yeah, the three places are the Van Gogh Museum. Van Gogh is actually from the Netherlands. This very Venice-looking scene, I thought that was interesting because only half of the Netherlands is above sea level, so flooding is common. And at the bottom, there's Bloemen Market, which we're going to talk about more later. Location and size. As you can see, the Netherlands is located on the west coast of Europe, right between Belgium and Germany. It's across from England, and right above it is the North Sea. The Netherlands is about 1,600 square miles, which is the same as to New Jersey, so yes, it is a very tiny country. And it was established in 1648, that's that big date at the side, so yeah. Alright, political divisions. Alright, 12 provinces and 4 countries? Yeah, so the Netherlands is actually a kingdom of 4 constituent countries, which going from top to bottom are Curaçao, St. Martin, Aruba, and then the Netherlands. This is a map of what I guess you would call continental Netherlands, or like Netherlands headquarters. I don't know. But of all the provinces, as you can see, there are those 2 Holland provinces, and Amsterdam is within North Holland, right on that coast. All right, moving on. Mountains, islands, and flowers. These are the major topographical features. The first one, with the cow, are the Ardennes Mountains. As I mentioned before, only half of Netherlands is above sea level, and that makes it a very like flat country. And so the highest peak of the Ardennes Mountains, which is called Valsburg, is only, let me find my number, 1,053 feet above ground, which is 100 feet shorter than the Empire State Building, which I thought was absolutely mind-blowing. This second picture of this like seemingly like beautiful coastal town is one of the West Frisian Islands, and it is along that west coast of the Netherlands. It's a very rough coast. Like many European countries, they have little pieces of land that have become this like little island chain called the West Frisian Islands, and this down here is just a tulip field. The Netherlands is very famous for their big plantations of tulips. It's a very like agriculturally rich country, and very, very beautiful. These flowers can grow thanks to the beautiful temperate climate that they have in the Netherlands. We're in the same climate band, I believe, and that is why their climate is a little less extreme than ours. Our winters get colder, our summers get hotter, so they're somewhere in the middle, you know, if New Jersey was more mild. And this graph is of the highest temperatures in Amsterdam, so you can look at that. You can see that we basically have like kind of the same thing going on, but like they're overall a little warmer than we are. Okay, natural resources. First up, we have petroleum, gasoline, petrol, whatever you want to call it, they have it. Second, we have limestone. I didn't know what limestone was. I knew it was like a rock, but I found it very fascinating that the whole Roman Colosseum was built out of limestone. I thought that was cool. And another resource they have is salt. Moving on. Exports versus imports. Okay, the orange is the exports and the white side is the imports. So their largest export is computer machinery, makes up 14% of their total exports, and it makes $100 billion. Wow, that's kind of crazy. And the second largest is mineral fuel, which makes 97 billion. Wow, again. And is 14% of the total exports. Pharmaceuticals make up 6% of their exports and rack in 43 billion. All right, on to imports, we have fuel. I thought that was weird because one of their natural resources is petrol, but I don't know. Fuel makes up for around 30% of their total imports. Machinery makes around 25% of total imports. And food and live animals makes up 9%. Okay, major products. Computers would, of course, be one of them. They've been making computers for a long time. That's why I picked this old, crusty-looking computer. They make computers, and because of that, like, agricultural rich farmland, they have sugar beets and potatoes are their, like, two chief crops that they sell and export. And you buy these crops with euros. Woo! You can see the euros are in the top right corner. It's that, like, nice, pretty rainbow money. We've all seen euros. I think we know what they are. Okay, iconic brands. All right, look at the CD, it's spinning. I was so proud of that. First things first, we have Royal Dutch Shell. Yes, Shell gas station's full name is Royal Dutch Shell. I was so shocked by that. And then we have Heineken beer. And right there is a spinning CD because in the Netherlands, they were the first ones to, like, I don't know or if it was like invent or manufacture CDs, DVD, and Blu-ray, which I thought that was really interesting. Okay, population is about 18 million people, which is, again, 2 times New Jersey. Kind of crazy. And it is increasing at a rate of 0.37%, so that's a pretty steady increase. They're looking pretty good. Okay, now we're on to like a very wordy, statisticky slide. These are the major religions in the Netherlands. 23% of people are Roman Catholic, 14% are Protestant, and 10% are like Muslim. 10% makes up other, and 5% makes up Muslim, and 50% of people do not subscribe to a religion. I thought that was very fascinating, but I don't know. All the countries that like we've done before, aka the one country that I did before, everyone kind of had a religion. But yeah, I don't know if this is a rarity, but I think it's very cool. All right, on to poverty. Poverty is actually a big problem in the Netherlands. Actually, child poverty, which is very sad. But poverty in general, 8.8% of people live under the poverty line. So that is 1,400,000 people. Whew. And despite that, 99% of the Netherlands is literate. And of those literate people, 100% of them speak Dutch. Yeah, there's like no other languages in the Netherlands except for like all the bilingual people, because 86% of those Dutch-speaking people speak English as well. It's a second language. They're very proficient in that. I think they're one of like the #1 countries for just having really good, like, efficient bilingual English teaching. Okay, now we're on to the government stuff. So the government type is a parliamentary constitutional monarchy. Whew, what a mouthful. But I'm pretty sure that's the same as Britain, and it means that they have a prime minister as well as a king and queen. So they have a group making decisions, and they also have the big like royal figures. The bottom picture is of the king and queen. The king is King Willem Alexander. He's the oldest child of Princess Beatrix and the diplomat Klaus van Amberg. I thought those were really cool names. And the guy up top is Mark Rutte. He is the Prime Minister of Netherlands. Lions, tulips, and wooden shoes. Oh my! Alright, so first up we have the lion, which became a symbol of the Netherlands very early on. I think during wars in the 1600s, soldiers would go into battle with like these lions on their shields, and then over time the kings started encrusting the lion symbol on their swords. And yeah, it became a big symbol of like royalty and like respect within the Netherlands. Second symbol are tulips, self-explanatory. I feel like we've talked about flowers a lot. And the third are clogs, Dutch dancing, very famous. You've seen clogs, you know? Clogs. A short history. Okay, in the 4th century, barbarians invaded what was the Netherlands. It was basically just a bunch of like Germanic tribes roaming around, but barbarians invaded them. In 1521, wooden buildings were banned everywhere. That's why there's not a lot of wood architecture in places like Amsterdam. 1652 to 1674, there were 3 Anglo-Dutch wars, which would be like French-Dutch wars. And the war started in 1652, 1665, and 1674. 1806 to 1810, Louis Bonaparte becomes the king of the Netherlands. Bonaparte. That sounds familiar. It's because he's Napoleon Bonaparte's brother. So he was king for a while. Pretty sure they kicked him out. And now, sort of more current, 1945, 1952, Anne Frank and her family hid in Amsterdam. That is where her diary was written, basically, and where she was captured and taken to a concentration camp where she died at the age of 15. Okay, now we're on to famous people. I thought the most like significant person from the Netherlands, personally, was Vincent van Gogh. We know him as a famous impressionist artist. This is a quote of his: "Normality is a paved road. It's comfortable to walk, but no flowers grow." Vincent van Gogh, he's famous for being the artist who painted Starry Night. This is another famous painting, Lady with the Pearl Earring, and also chopping his ear off. Whoa! Yeah, Vincent van Gogh, he was very mentally disturbed. I believe he had manic depression, and back then they didn't like acknowledge things like that, so he suffered for a very long time. He had a lot of like manic episodes. He only had moments of like being lucid, being himself, but he kept diaries of all this time, so they have like the diaries of his last years of life until he was sent off to an asylum, and then he died of suicide. So yeah, sad story of a wonderful creative person. But another creative person who came out of the Netherlands, Eddie Van Halen and his brother Alex Van Halen, who started the American band Van Halen. Okay, tourism. Is tourism important in the Netherlands? Yes, it's very important. They make a lot of money. Some of the hot spots are, again, the tulip fields. This is Dam Square in Amsterdam. Dam Square. See how it correlates. And this is a famous building with a Greek crest on it that says Alniet, which means greed brings grief in Greek. Quick anecdote. My dad used to work in the Netherlands a lot when I was younger, and I asked him about it. I was like, what was like your favorite thing that you saw in the Netherlands? And he said that like it wasn't the cities, it wasn't Amsterdam or anything like that. It was being on a train and looking out the window and seeing these like rolling hills and just like lush green land that like we barely have in the US. Like just the amount of like lushness and just like flat like fields upon fields of flowers and stuff. And I thought that was like very interesting and like an interesting take on the Netherlands, because a lot of people think of Amsterdam and like drugs and like it being dirty, but it's actually this very like beautiful, sweet country. Okay, fun facts. These I guess would fit under like magical, historical, and geographical facts and features. Again, it's a picture of the Bowman Market. I told you we were going to talk about it later. It's a famous market in Amsterdam, and it's famous for its flowers and just being just really wholesome. And wholesome fact is that 80% of the world's flower bulbs are from the Netherlands. I thought that was really cool, but it makes a lot of sense. The Netherlands has the highest population density in Europe, which I thought was interesting because the relative size is 2 times New Jersey, and New Jersey is the most densely populated state in the US, so I thought that was interesting. The parliament plans to ban the sales of like petrol and diesel powered cars by 2025. I don't know how they're going to do that, but I mean, if they do, that'll be really awesome for our environment. The Netherlands was the first country to legalize gay marriage. I thought that was really like progressive and like forward thinking, and they have a monument called the Homo Monument where it like memorializes all the like gay people who were killed and like prosecuted and stuff. And yeah, it's basically just like a dedicated memorial, and it's a big tourist attraction. And this is my favorite fact of all time. In the Netherlands, there are more bikes than people. There's about a 2-to-1 ratio of bike to human, and I thought that was so crazy. Like, if the Dutch bikes just wanted to take over the world, they totally could. Like, they could just completely like take over the Netherlands, and I thought that was really cool. So I put two bikes on the slide, and you should be very, very intimidated by them. Okay. Oh, this is a burning question. How many cases of the coronavirus do they have? They have 4,749, which the last time I checked was 2 times the case in New Jersey. I don't know if the information I got was correct, but yeah, they have quite a bit of cases, which makes sense. They're very densely populated, and it's hard to find accurate statistics right now, especially because they just keep going up. But whatever. What is my printer doing? Yeah, so that is the coronavirus cases. And vaarwel, that's farewell or goodbye in Dutch, okay? Bye, thank you.